The single most powerful thing you can do for your music isn't a new technique or a better teacher. It's showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it, especially then. Ever had a great week with your music and then all of a sudden you lost momentum because life just got in the way? When you skip a few days, does coming back feel harder than it should? Almost like starting over. Wouldn't it change everything if practice felt less like a task to motivate yourself for and more like something you just do, like brushing your teeth? And what if consistency, not genius, not talent, was the actual secret? If we haven't met, I'm EP Archer, and I help committed adults over 30 who play an instrument or sing create beautiful tone and unshakable confidence without compromising who they are or the music they love. In Stravinsky's Poetics of Music, he says, what is important for the lucid ordering of our work, for its crystallization, is that all the elements which set the imagination of the artist in motion and make life sap rise must be properly subjugated before they intoxicate us and must finally be made to submit to the law. Apollo demands it. Stravinsky's argument here is about Apollo versus Dionysus. Structure doesn't kill spontaneity, it channels it. Daily practice is the container inside which our movement of music can actually happen. Without the container, the inspiration has nowhere to land and no description. Wynton Marsalis talks about ritual and daily discipline, and he says he practices at the same time every day. He treats it as a professional obligation regardless of his mood or inspiration. The decision to show up is made once, not every day. That's the key. You don't negotiate with yourself every morning. You already decided. Y'all know by now that I'm a fan of the art of war and the war of art, consequently. And in the war of art, the same thing is suggested by Stephen Pressfield, to show up every day and to do your work every day, not to treat creative work as coming when we have inspiration or music as something that we do only when we have time, but that's something that we make time for. And we look at habit research. If you haven't read Atomic Habits yet, it's an amazing book, a great study. But habits form on an average over 66 days. So if you're thinking, hey, I'm going to do it consistently for a week or 2 weeks, or I've got my 21 days, which is a lot of people talk about that on social media, it's actually an average usually of over 60 days, more than 2 months. And I can tell you from starting this podcast that that is definitely true for me. We're on episode 52 here, but definitely 21 days in did not feel like that regular habit yet. And I'm so glad that I made a commitment to show up for this podcast because I want to show up for you. I want to show up for us. Let's show up for our music together. One of my favorite teachers that works with somatic resonance is Julie Lyonn Lieberman. She talks about the somatic body memory, how our bodies have their own relationship with our instrument. When we have daily contact, it keeps that memory alive and accessible. So our extended breaks don't just affect our skill level or our comfortability. They affect the felt sense of the instrument as being a part of our body. So when we show up every single day, it helps maintain that physical conversation. If you know anything about astrology, it's the new moon in Taurus, and having that conversation with your body and enabling your body to talk to your instrument and your instrument to be an extension of your body is key and very supported energetically right now. You know, I come to this podcast every single day, not because I'm trying to make everything a masterpiece or perfect it. If you've heard my show, you know that isn't true, but because consistency is where the rubber meets the road. Showing up is how we find our voice, find our people, and connect. And I want to help you do that. I want to help everyone to be able to connect to their voice. And because I care about that, I will show up every single day because the practice of showing up is the practice. Even if you're going to your practice room or your instrument and it's 5 minutes, just show up, make a commitment, because ritual can enhance this routine, right? A routine is something you do without thinking. And a ritual is something that you bring intention to. It's not like a magic spell. It is something that holds meaning for you. You know, it could be as simple as your morning cup of coffee made with an AeroPress with your favorite Bustelo blend. That is a ritual. The intent is to have a moment and to be there and to start your day with clarity and peace and a beverage that you love. So all we have to do to switch our practice from routine to ritual is to have intention. It's the same 5 minutes of time or 10 minutes of time, whatever you are willing and able to block out. But let's take a slow, deep breath. Let's honor this moment and honor the fact and celebrate the fact that we're showing up. We're showing up for ourselves, for our instrument, and for everyone else that's making time to do something meaningful in their life, that is following a passion, a hobby, something that lights them up and something that makes their life better. Because the more humans that do an activity that makes us feel better, that helps us connect, that allows us to be authentic, the more the world changes with us. So with that intention, let's remember consistency isn't discipline. It's part of your identity. Who you are as someone who shows up every day, even if it's 5 minutes, is not someone who decides whether or not to practice, or who's someone who maybe I play or maybe I don't. It's someone who's made a commitment. And when you commit to yourself for any activity that betters your life, including music, it finds its way into your body and becomes part of who you are. And then your body expects it. That's the shift. If I'm always eating sugar every single day, my body expects sugar. If I gradually switch that to more veggies every day, something that's oxidizing, then my body expects that. What is your body expecting, and what would you like it to expect and feel with? So here's how you put it into action. Pick a time, the same time tomorrow as today, not when I have time. There's gotta be 5 minutes that you can set aside. For me, I've got teenagers, I've got kiddos, so I have to set the alarm earlier for when they are not awake to make any extra time, and that's exactly what I do. So pick a time, put it into your phone, set an alarm, and that single decision removes any kind of negotiating you have to do with yourself. Then let's create one signal that marks the start of it. Maybe it's 3 deep breaths. Maybe it's shaking everything out and grabbing your instrument. Maybe it's making that delicious cup of coffee to go along with it. But do that same action at the start of every practice, and that will be the signal to tell your nervous system, here we are. We're present, we're ready, and everything else waits. Even 2 minutes, if you do it every day, beats an hour once in a while. So you don't have to feel motivated to practice. That's the good news, because a lot of times we don't. You just need to practice until the motivation shows up, and it will. And the days that you least want to do it are the days you will get the most from it and that you actually need it the most. And let's shift from a state of, I practice when I can, to I show up for myself and my music every day. That's who I am. I'm someone who shows up. So pick your time, show up tomorrow, come and tell us, comment on this episode or come to our Facebook group. And if you're a violin player, check us out at our Facebook group. You can find the link, facebook.com/group/adult violin. Everybody else, find me on Facebook or Instagram, EP Archer. I can't wait to see you. Come and say hi, come and show us how you showed up. And just remember, your best music is on the other side. And I can't wait to see you there.